We've all seen it. That heart-stopping, breath-holding, pin-drop quiet moment on Antiques Roadshow. A guest, nervous and hopeful, stands under the bright lights as an expert turns their dusty attic find over in their hands. It's the moment of truth. The expert looks up, and the world just stops. We live for the reactions, the hands-to-the-mouth gasps, the joyful tears, the people who genuinely look like they might faint when they learn their grandmother's costume jewelry is actually a $100,000 Cartier original. But every once in a while, a moment comes along that isn't just shock, it's pure, unadulterated disbelief. This is exactly what happened when one man appeared on the beloved PBS show. He wasn't speechless, he didn't collapse. Instead, when the appraiser delivered her verdict, he looked her straight in the eye, and with a baffled shake of his head, questioned the very reality of the number she had just quoted. He wasn't rude, he wasn't arrogant, he was just genuinely, deeply floored, and his story? It's one of the most incredible tales of survival, grit, and American history the show has ever seen. The man was the great-grandson of an Alaskan legend named Harry Karstens, and the item he brought in, carefully unwrapped, wasn't a sparkling diamond or a lost painting. It was an ice axe. A rustic, hand-forged, weathered piece of metal and wood. It looked like something you'd find hanging in a forgotten corner of an old barn. But this axe wasn't just any axe. It was the only surviving ice axe from the very first successful expedition to the summit of Denali, the tallest, most terrifying mountain in all of North America. The appraiser, her eyes wide with a professional's deep, quiet reverence, knew she was holding something almost holy. The guest, however, seemed to see it as a simple, rugged piece of his family's past. He knew the story, but he had no idea of its true place in history. He began to preface his great-grandfather's unbelievable 1913 adventure. Harry Karstens, he explained, was a young man of just 18 when he was swept up in the gold rush of 1897. He arrived in Daya, Alaska, a kid working on a ranch in Billings, Mo, when a guy came into town talking about gold. He got to the frontier with, quite literally, nothing. This wasn't a story of striking it rich. This was a story of pure survival. The guest shared a stunning piece of family lore. When Harry first arrived, he starts exchanging labor for goods. The price of survival was steep. He worked an entire day, the guest said, for a can of peas. Let that sink in. An entire day of back-breaking labor for a single can of vegetables. But Harry Karstens was different. He didn't just endure the brutal Alaskan wilderness, he learned from it. He wasn't a man trying to conquer the land. He was a man trying to understand it. He learned from the First Nations people, his great-grandson explained, how to do all the skills that were appropriate to survive in the Alaska winter. He didn't just survive, he thrived. He built a boat to Lindman City. He built a life. He even lived just 2 cabins away from the legendary author Jack London, another man captivated by the call of the wild. Harry built up a reputation. He was the man who could handle anything the world threw at him. He was the man who simply wouldn't die. He shouldn't have survived, his great-grandson admitted, a note of awe in his own voice. He just kept surviving. That kind of reputation gets you noticed. It grabbed the attention of Archdeacon Hudson Stuck, a man with a seemingly impossible goal. He wanted to climb that mountain over there, the colossal, unconquered peak then known as Mount McKinley. He needed a man who knew survival. He needed Harry Karstens. For this audacious attempt, a local blacksmith was commissioned to create 4 identical ice axes, one for each member of the core climbing team: Harry Karstens, Hudson Stuck, Robert Tatum, and Walter Harper. 4 axes went up the mountain. Only one came down. The story of the other 3 is a testament to the mountain's fury. Robert Tatum lost his in McKinley River. The guest revealed, a casual statement that hides a moment of pure terror. Imagine being on the most dangerous expedition of your life and watching your primary tool get swallowed by a raging glacial river. And the other 2? Harper's and Stuck's disappeared. Lost to the ice, to a fall, to the sheer chaos of the climb. Vanished. This, the guest said, gesturing to the axe on the table, is the only one we know that exists today. The appraiser was visibly moved. This is an amazing object, she began, her voice filled with respect. She explained that mountaineering is a wonderful niche category for collectors, but it's a frustrating one. Why? The problem is that we don't see a lot of materials. It stays in the family as it has with yours.